So you Googled how to write a business plan, and it gave you 99,600,000 results. Where do you begin? And is writing a business plan really worth the trouble?
Love it or hated it, at some point you'll need to write a business plan. But it's not just about writing it down. The real power lies in how successful it is. We asked the experts.
1.
A business plan seems like it could be something that you can skip over and just sort of, it kind of sometimes seems like the boring part, but it's so important because once you're in it, once you're actually doing the planning and you're running the business and you're doing this and you're doing that and you're doing a million other things, everything can get so convoluted. It can get really exciting, but then it can get really scary, and then you can second guess yourself. And if you have a business plan to go back to, something to just, okay, I was in a calm state of mind. I was in, my planning stages and I was really taking it all in, and I put together this well thought out strategy. Then you have something to go back to and stick to so that you're not all over the place. It's very easy to say, okay, I'm going to invest in a social media strategy. And then 2 days in, I'm not seeing sales. I don't know. Should I pull those dollars? Should I put it somewhere else? Should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? It's always going to be, should I? So having a strategy, sticking to it, really thinking through what your long-term goals and plans are, it's going to just help you stay grounded. It's going to help you stay mindful and honestly just help you from going crazy.
2.
I don't think people actually need to write out formal plans. I don't find that they actually get used. I find people create them and they never come back to them. It needs to be a data spreadsheet that has all the different levers of the business, and you've got to collaborate with your team. So when you first get a plan built, it's actually important that you're, as the owner, not the one that builds the plan. It's actually most important that you go down and meet with each department. Even if you're the leader of that department, bring the team in, have them choose the goal, have them choose the idea of what this looks like, and help collaborate and shape it. Then build the plan and bring them and integrate them together. And that's actually how you'll get to a plan that you'll use and that will actually become part of the organization.
3.
From my experience, I never wrote a business plan. My business plan, if I were to kind of think back and put it into writing, was bring in more money than you spend. That really was my business plan as an entrepreneur too, right? And moving to New York, as I brought on more people on my team, I'm like, okay, I've got to make sure that I have enough revenue coming in that covers their salary, that covers my expenses of living. But in terms of a plan, I'm like, okay, I want to grow this. I didn't have a formal business plan. I knew that I needed to have the resources, the discussions, the coaches to help me get there. Now, obviously, I plan quarterly. I look at revenue goals 7 years into the business. But when I was starting out, I didn't have a formal business plan. But I did know this at the back of my mind, and I did know this intuitively, that the way that I grew up as an immigrant, we don't buy things that that are unnecessary, right? Now, obviously, that varies from person to person, how that is defined. But for us, it's like you get food, like you eat, where you sleep, and the clothes you wear. They're the 3 things that, really, if you've got a decent jumper or a decent jacket, you're good. Like, we didn't get too fancy. And I think for me, when I was starting a business, I was very much like, okay, I'm going to start it in the room that I'm renting out in my apartment. I don't need a fancy office. I knew what I needed, and that was me, a good internet connection, making sure that revenue was coming in that was more than my expenses. And that's what kind of, spiraled into like the growth that we've had year on year. It's just building those relationships, growing it year on year, and reaching out to those resources. So I can understand why startups fail, and they obviously have different reasons for failing. But for me, it was very much going old school on my numbers and my books to be like, this is how I need to run this ship, really.
4.
I think using a business plan is incredibly important. Oftentimes people write business plans, they hire organizations to help them write business plans, and then the business plan sits on a shelf and isn't really used in a very structured or impactful way. That falls into the waste of time category in my mind. We like to work with organizations who really want to build a plan, who want to build a map to get to where they want to go. Organizations, it would be like going on a trip and not having any kind of system or map to figure out where you want to go. Organizations tend to have big visions. Organizations tend to have clear missions. But how you bring that vision to life and how you execute against a mission is really, really important. And you can do it in many different ways. So I think that an organization wants a business plan to really lay out exactly the impact they want to make and the strategies that they want to employ to get there. I often say to both nonprofits, organizations, and for-profits, what problem are you solving? And who is having that problem? And how big is this problem? And what is your solution vis-a-vis the competition that makes you the best organization to solve this problem? And if you are the best organization, and if you as leader are the best leader to do this, to solve this problem, then tell me what the strategies are that you need to employ to really do this effectively, efficiently, and competitively. It's a discipline, because oftentimes people can fall in love with their vision, they can fall in love with their passion, but they might not be very effective at managing process or managing systems to get there. I often say the best ideas poorly implemented gets you nothing. But a beautiful idea, flawlessly implemented, can get you everything. You know, there are lots of organizations that just have good ideas. They want to make a difference. They want to make an impact. All they need is the implementation plan to get there. If you do not have an implementation plan, then you have a big, big risk of not doing it well.
5,
Well, when you do a business plan, you write these endless projections of these fabulous revenue and cash flow numbers in a spreadsheet, and everyone goes ooh and ah, and almost always they're overstated or take twice as long to achieve it. All of your benchmarks take twice as long and cost twice as much as you thought to achieve them, whether it's adding personnel or services or doing marketing.
The Best of Business Show is brought to you by the BASA Awards. The BASA Awards exist to recognize, reward, and promote exceptional small businesses. We run 4 award programs: Best of America, Best of Australia, Best of Canada, Best of UK. Remember, it's strictly for small businesses only. Nominate your business today.